angle is everything, right? I was trying to get a great angle. I was trying to get an angle where you could see me and you could see all this stuff that I purchased in order to recreate a Pottery Barn coastal themed wreath.
Am I breaking my New Year's resolution if you buy it?
This wreath caused my downfall. I really wanted to recreate it, but I didn't have any of the supplies to do that. So that led me to breaking my New Year's resolution.
What was that narrative in your head? What'd you just say? Mom, I really want to buy you some craft supplies since I know you made this New Year's resolution and you can't get any, so I want to buy you some. That's what I said in her head.
I went out, I broke my New Year's resolution to not buy any craft supplies, and I had been doing pretty good because a lot of what I've been buying has been home decor, so it didn't fall under that craft supply category, right? Technically Bethany bought these, however it was with my money. So I still think I might have broken my New Year's resolution. I'm not really sure where that line is. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to pop a picture of my inspiration Pottery Barn wreath on this video so that you can see. But I'm about to get started and recreate this wreath. I'd love for you to keep watching and see how I do it.
What I neglected to tell you is that I'm Allie with Allie Oops Boutique, and I'm so glad you're here to watch this video and how I recreate this Pottery Barn wreath. The first thing I did was gather my supplies. So I had some floral wire cutters, some floral wire, and these cool little picks that have wire attached because I thought I might use them, but I ended up not using them.
And this wreath, it had a lot of like air plants, some coastal type foliage, some driftwood, sea urchin, little urchin.
You're not buying crafts at all. No, Bethany is.
Starfish, shells, just a really coastal vibe, but it was just so earthy and natural looking. I loved it. It wasn't like gaudy coastal. It was just beautiful.
So right here, I've got this beautiful foliage that I found at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just cutting it all apart so I can use it all around the wreath. And I'm using my wire cutters to do this. I absolutely love this foliage. It looks, you know, a little like seaweed. I know that sounds weird, but it just is so beautiful. And it's perfect for this style of wreath. So what I'm doing is I'm not even using glue. These have a nice strong wire on them. So I am just poking them into this grapevine wreath. I love working with grapevine wreaths because a lot of times you don't have to use glue, which makes it able to reuse your faux florals. And what I've done here is I put it all around and I've left an area for a focal point.
Now this wreath was about $189 or $199 online.
Nothing is on sale.
Oh, this is
The one thing.
Truth be known, after I bought all this stuff, I probably spent that much.
After I got the base foliage down on my wreath, I dug out everything that I had bought, all the faux florals, and I started playing around with it to see where I wanted to attach everything on my wreath. Now, this process took me a little bit of time, and you'll see me picking up my phone here and there where I'm looking at my inspiration photo and just deciding where I want everything. Now, I suggest just take your time, have fun, and decide where you want everything before you wire or glue them down. And I had a lot of elements to this wreath, so it took me just a minute. There was maybe 3 or 4 different types of greenery, and then there were all the shells and the driftwood and starfish. So there was a lot going on, and it took me a minute to really decide where I wanted everything. And you'll see me, I'm just cutting apart the florals to use them as I would like. And I love all the different shades of green, the mossy greens, the chartreuse, the grays. It's just so beautiful. And these air plants, they looked pretty darn real. I love them. All of these items came from Hobby Lobby. Now, once you get everything down where you want it and you're happy with how it looks, I suggest taking a photo so you don't forget where everything went when you're ready to actually glue or wire them in. Now, right here, I'm showing you how you can use a shell and a leftover succulent and have a decor item all in it of itself.
So I did consider my time and cost of supplies versus, just buying it already made. But it wasn't available anymore. It was nowhere to be found. It was all sold out all over the internet.
Now, I got the idea that I should add some Spanish moss. I had an abundance of it already in my craft stash, so I grabbed it and I started laying it down. And I thought this would make a really cool bed to attach the shells and starfish to. Now, nothing says coastal more than Spanish moss. It's hanging from just about all the trees in any coastal city. So now what I'm doing is I'm using my Ryobi cordless glue gun, which I love, but it does get extremely hot. So you have to be careful when you're using it, especially when you're gluing down moss, because moss, that glue can kind of seep through all those little areas where, in between the moss. And so just be careful if you do this. So I'm putting down the moss and then I'm attaching my air plants. And I'm just going through, I'm putting a little bit of glue. I've cut the stems pretty short so they can just tuck into that grapevine wreath and stick in there real good. And then I kind of test it once it's set up for a minute just to make sure everything's in there good and tight. But this was pretty easy. So even though this wreath was not an inexpensive DIY project, and buying it might have been just as good an option, it was pretty easy and pretty fast, and the longest time it took was me just deciding where I wanted to put everything. So it was certainly worth it. It was fun. It was a great Sunday afternoon project. It wasn't messy, except for the moss. The moss was pretty darn messy. Always is, isn't it? You gotta sweep and vacuum after you use Spanish moss. Now here I actually wired on the driftwood to the wreath. It was not really heavy, but it was a larger piece and I wanted it to be really secure, and I didn't feel that just the hot glue was enough. So I wired it in by sticking the wire through the little holes in the driftwood and then wrapping it around the wreath, and then I did add a little glue for extra security. Now, I really didn't want to use glue on these shells and starfish because I was afraid if I wanted to reuse them, it would be hard to do that and get the glue off. However, in the end, the hot glue was the best option because wiring a lot of these items on was just not easy to do. So I went ahead and went with the hot glue. I could not be more happier with how this turned out. I think I might even love it more than my inspiration. You see how at the corner there's the focal point with the driftwood and the sea urchins. I just absolutely love how this turned out. Now right here I'm attaching a wire hanger to the back so I can hang it. Now this was the perfect addition to my back door. I originally wanted it for my back porch and as I kind of make it over, but it did get hung inside for a minute, and I had a hard time putting it outside, but I absolutely love how it turned out, and it was perfect for my back door, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did enjoy watching this video, please like and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.